What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Yes! I like it.
RadioWhat.com.
What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. Today on the program, I have a 4-person band, Imbolg. I'm kind of excited to talk to Imbolg. I've been listening to their music all day long, and you get to hear them in your ears in the next few minutes. Now, it's going to be a technological experience for me because I'm going to get all 4 of them on the phone on their own separate phone lines. Let's see how that works out. Kind of stoked about that. Stretching my phone dialing and merging and conference call capabilities. So maybe I could fall flat in my face. Let's stay tuned, see what happens. This week's shows, due to the novel COVID-19 coronavirus, I have no public shows, no private shows. So you'll be hearing podcast after podcast after podcast with yours truly. Make sure you subscribe. That's right. You're going to hear my voice in your ears while you're jogging or doing your thing while we're quarantined for this pandemic. This needs to end. Come on, scientists. Find a cure. Hurry up. Do it. Tired of this. I want a hug. I need hugs. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it with Imbolg, the 4 great members of Imbolg, calling Imbolg now.
Hello.
My main man, Nate.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's so good. Keys Dan with the What Makes You Famous podcast. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Oh, superstar. Super duper. All right, pronounce your name one time.
Nate Dalcase. The band is called Imbolg.
I like it. All right, we got the front man. What else do you do for the band Imbolg?
Well, I'm the founding member and the singer, songwriter, guitar player, and I run our label, Forever Autumn Records.
Excellent, rock star. Well, it's time to get the drummer on. Let's get Ken Holly on the line.
Hello?
Ken Holly is on the line, merging. Time to get a keyboardist on here. Calling Hannah Steinbach now. Do the What Makes You
Please
Famous.
state your name after the tone, and Google Voice will try to connect you.
Keys Dan.
I'm on.
All right, Hannah Steinbach is on. Fantastic.
Yes.
All right, we got Hannah Steinbach. Now, Hannah was a little bit more cryptic. She used a Google Voice number. She didn't want to give out the real number. No way, no how.
I do now. Nobody else knows it's my Google Voice.
Oh, yeah, I got a Google Voice myself, but everybody knows my number. I put it on the bathroom wall, people. Let's get a bass player on the line. Chris Dinan. Oh, there he is. All right. I think we got them all on the line now. You know, when I was thinking about this podcast today, and I've been thinking about it all day long and listening to the sweet sounds of Imbolg in my ears, you know, putting up the rock and roll fingers, you know, the fingers, the horns while I'm rocking out to Imbolg. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was thinking about it and I'm thinking, wow, there's 4 of you and only 1 of me. I figure I'm going to sit back, relax, and let you talk amongst yourselves. I mean, we can start with the front man and find out more about Nate. Where are you from? And tell the people a little bit about who Nate is. Start with your full name and tell them all about you.
My name is Nate Dalcase. I'm originally from Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. That's Bergen County. I just been playing since I was about 11 or 12 years old. And I went on to play in the high school band and I learned some music theory, you know. So I originally I had a theme, like a Celtic theme, in case I don't know if you saw, some of the stuff with the Gaelic in there. So I started with that, and I just have an eclectic taste in music.
I'm a fan of the Celtic. I really am. I just bought a new kilt, just a utility kilt to wear around town. I've had an Irish national kilt since about 2000. I got married in that thing. My Irish roots. So I figured I'd wear that and feel good. And I had bagpipes, and I'm kind of an Anglophile, so I like things in the UK anyway, in that area. But so you have that going for you. So who's next in the band? Who would call themselves out in the band Imbolg? Who are you? Let's go with Ken Holly. Let's go with Ken Holly.
Right. I have to agree. Nate's music taste is definitely eclectic. I've spent many hours in a car with him, riding to gigs, Baltimore and other cities. And wow. If you're listening to music, it could be metal one minute, it could be Jackson 5 the next. You never know.
I knew you were going to mention them. Well, they were actually my first concert, the Jacksons.
When?
At the Garden.
When?
80s.
Now that's
There's
a good
even a
Jackson.
picture of me.
I mean, I like the little Michael. Of course, ABC and Stop the Love You Save May Be Your Own. But the Jacksons, when they got back together, all six of them, right? In that area, I think I saw them down in Miami in that time. And in the 80s, I was a high school student myself, class of 86 rules. So yeah, I can feel the Jacksons. All right, Ken. Well, that didn't really tell who you are. You kind of agreed with who Nate was. Ken Holly, tell the people who you are.
So I'm a relatively new member of the band. I didn't record on the albums, but I'm touring and playing with them. I grew up on the West Coast. Been playing drums since I don't know, 19 or so. Completely 100% self-taught. I like the music. I enjoyed playing with these guys. So far, it's been a fun ride.
You know what you reminded me of was Ferris Bueller when he played his clarinet. He says, "Self-taught, no lessons." Never had one lesson.
So musically speaking, I'm actually a traditionally trained woodwind player. I've been playing clarinet and bass clarinet and saxophone since I was 12.
See, now you got to whip those out while you're doing your rock song. Just whip out a clarinet, just in the middle of it. You will blow minds. The kids are there for an Imbolg concert, and bam, here comes Ken Holly with his clarinet.
The only modern band that I've actually seen pull that off successfully on stage I would have to say would be Tom Waits with the bass clarinet.
Man, Tom Waits can do anything, though.
He's his own genre.
You better believe it. You better believe it. All right, let's bring in a lady. We've had some dude voices. It's time to get a lady. There's a keyboardist out there.
I'm the lady right now.
Hannah Steinbach. There she is.
Yes. Hi. How are you?
It's good. Tell the people who you are.
Well, I am the keyboard player now for Imbolg. I joined last year. I was really, really happy because I had seen them play, and I knew, Nate and our the other female that used to be in the band, Katie Hawk, from the music scene in New York. And so I was really happy to join them, and they didn't have a keyboard player at the time. So I got the job. And I've been playing piano since I was 8. I was actually classically trained, I went to Manhattan School of Music. And then I gave it up for quite a while because I had to go to work, and I didn't feel like I could do both,
Mm-hmm.
And then I came back to it, and I was in an all-girl band called Lilith, and a couple of other bands, and now I'm really happy to be with Imbolg.
Fantastic. And you're from the New York area as well? Long Island?
Yes, I'm from Forest Hills, New York, like the Ramones.
Oh, 2020, 24 hours to go. You know what's funny?
I actually met Johnny in the subway once.
Are you kidding me? That the brushes with greatness.
We talked for like 20 minutes, and then I didn't know what to say. Because we had talked for so long, it seemed like I don't know. How long were we going to stand in the subway talking? So I said, "Well, it was really nice meeting you." And I just laughed. I was the one to end it.
I mean, but did he look like Joey Ramone? Did he have the long hair with the leather jacket with the pins?
Absolutely. Yes. It was after they were, they'd become, their first record had come out. Yeah. So I'd
be without words.
Oh no. They were really nice. I met a couple of the Ramones. They were really in like clubs and stuff. Really nice guys.
Well, I know nice. I made a point in my New Year's Eve party to play I Want to Be Sedated because it was 24 hours to go. It was like 4 hours before. I don't know. It worked out really well.
Oh,
2020.
Very cool.
It's like 24 hours before 2020, 24 hours to go. Yeah. Anyway.
Right.
All right. That's 3. That's 3 out of 4. It's time to get one more person in the band. And we need a bass player. How about Chris Dinan? Who are you?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, super duper. Tell the people who you are.
Oh, well, I am the newest member. I've been with Imbolg for a few months. I'm from New York and self-taught bass playing for about 10 years. I have a bunch of kids. I got
He's got a
Yeah.
He's not kidding.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
Top of the Rolling Stone.
How many? How many kids? What you been up to? How many kids you got?
2 of them biologically are mine, and I have 3 stepsons.
Hey, the man likes to have kids. He likes kids around the house. You consider yourself a good daddy?
Yeah, never a dull moment.
Consider yourself a good daddy?
And, and it's great with this quarantine is that it's given me a lot of opportunity to have some intimate time with the kids to really bunker down and teach them how to, introduce them to music. And I actually just posted a picture on Facebook yesterday of my 4-year-old holding the bass guitar correctly for the first time.
Well, for those people that are listening in the future, in 2030 and beyond, this is being recorded as we speak, April 1st, 2020, April Fool's Day, and we'll get into this to see if anybody got any pranking on today. But there is a current pandemic, a COVID-19 coronavirus, which is keeping people quarantined, and I think we've thoroughly adhered to all the social distancing with having all 5 of us on separate phones in their own domiciles. And so I think we're adhering to the rules, especially in New York. It really got tough on you guys up there, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah. The numbers we're at the highest, but you don't. I mean, some people are working. Some of us are working, right, Nate?
Yes. Yeah, I'm working.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you got day jobs. There's Joe jobs out there. Keep the bills.
Yeah, that's what I consider it.
Keep the bills paid. You got to have an insurance job because a lot of artists are, you have the word starving put in front of it. You don't get insurance. So you got to hustle. I got an insurance job too.
You don't get health insurance.
Right.
It depends if you're a union guy, but playing in the band, but actually day job and pranking. That was actually an enlightening, a moment of enlightenment for me. Many years ago, my friends were like, this band Obituary, they were a bit heavier, like death metal, if you will. Right. They were like, we found out where the one guy worked. I'm like, what? They work? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, there's signs. They have merch. He's like, yeah, but it's Obituary. I mean, not to insult them, they're good, but this is just what my friend said. So I was shocked that they, that these guys were like signed to a label and they worked and stuff. And my friend was just trying to, call him up at his job and, prank him. He was actually really successful. I was shocked he was able to prank Walter Cronkite of all people.
When was this? In the 70s?
Well, no,
It's gotta be a long time.
90s or something. There was some book of famous people's phone numbers or something. So, he was able to do that.
Walter Cronkite, funny enough, when he retired, nobody knew that he was Democrat or Republican. He happened to be a Democrat, a flag flying Democrat. But while he was reporting the news, you never knew if he was left or right. He reported right down the middle. So getting to
that was, man, when the news was objective, or they tried to be.
Absolutely.
True journalism.
There was no left-sided news and right-sided news. It was right down the middle.
It was the news media wasn't based on ratings either.
Yeah. You reported the facts. Yeah. Here they are. Bam. And you didn't have. I guess you didn't have social media as well, but you had the three television channels to listen to. And Walter Cronkite, he definitely was. He was the man, back then, growing up. I grew up in the 70s. I shoot, even though I was too young to really understand a lot, I knew Walter Cronkite was on the television all the time. So somebody pranked him. I don't like that, but hey, it happens. April Fool's Day. Talking to Imbolg. I got 4 members on the line. This is the first time I've had a 4 on the phone. I've had 4 in front of me in studio. But I'm kind of excited. I don't know how this is going to go. It could go. You could have stories forever and ever and ever. Okay,
definitely.
So
this is actually really cool.
Yeah, using sports terms, I would consider Imbolg in a rebuilding year. Okay, because you've got the original member, the founding member, but then he's got some brand new blood, some brand new people that are playing and making something that has been established a little fresh. So how do you feel joining a band that has been established somewhat? And tell me when was the first albums? We'll go with Nate on that one. When was the first albums, and when did that incarnation break up? And then how did new members start adding?
Well, the first album, it was in 2014. I'll just put it like that. We recorded it. I had this bass player I was working with for years, and we had a session drummer on that album. Actually, I did some of the keyboards. My bass player did some of them, and then we re-recorded some of the stuff. Actually, we put the album out, but we didn't have it, pressed on actual retail ready CDs. And then we fixed up the album a little bit, and we changed up this one song and included this new bass player, Lynn Hayes, who's no longer with us. And he played on this one song. So, we just put that one out. That was in 2014.
So that was the original incarnation of this band, the Imbolg, and
to be honest with you, there's been like people in and out and stuff. I mean, I'm a very bad judge of character. I'm being honest.
Well, I mean,
Not anymore.
No.
We're great now.
No, families and friends.
Nick's been kicked around a little bit, but he's learned from his experience.
Yeah. I don't really want to, trash anyone, but I'm just like, that's just. I mean, there's a whole history of this band that involves, just.
Well, every band's got that, I think, or a lot of bands.
Speed bumps and hiccups.
Yeah, I can hear it in your voice, Nate. It affected you a lot. Just like any relationship, like a marriage. Just when it breaks up, it kind of it hurts. It hurts a little bit, and I'm glad that you came
like
through.
A family in a band.
Yeah, I'm glad you came through it.
You're supposed to be. A lot of I really hate to just trash our whole generation and stuff, but everybody just we idolize. I say this, I read a blog too, and I just say this because I do have a friend, Dan, that's actually closer to your age. And he would tell me about how things were in the 70s. And he was like, we would all hang out. It was cold out. We'd have our drinking gloves and we would just have like beers in the cold. And, we'd make sure that the neighborhood was secure. No one was robbing an old lady or whatnot. And people really looked out. If this one guy was having problems with, being successful with girls, we'd link him up with somebody, just, stuff like that. And one of the reasons, like, I always give Led Zeppelin as a prime example. And I don't know if anyone really knows why they broke up, but obviously John Bonham died. And Jimmy Page's exact quote was, I had such a great relationship with Bonzo that I couldn't, continue on without him. So there was just that camaraderie and stuff. And there's just been, even one of my main influences, actually, and Chris's as well, Typo Negative. They had said that, and we've just been, such good friends for so long. So that's, people have just gotten a little bit more self-centered, or they don't understand how, stuff works. I mean, it's just difficult times to live in. Just socially and economically and whatnot. It's just there's not that like, hey, we're all in this together. Let's do this. I mean, I've had arguments with band members. All right, thank you. You guys just set me off. It's just like, what? We have to work on something? Yeah. I don't want to be sitting here when I'm dead, like I'm dying, and I didn't get to do this because someone was too lazy.
Oh, Nate, it takes a lot of sacrifice to be a musician, to be a touring musician. You have to give up family. You have to give up friends. It takes a certain type of person that would go out on the road and do, it's one thing to do a concert or an event that's, a few blocks away, but to go even to another city or another state, it takes a lot of sacrifice, and my man, was it Chris had all these kids. It's tough to leave all those kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not.
I like it's weird. I've been trying to come up with a nickname for him. I think it's going to be Exhibit A, because I've had people go, I have kids, I can't do this, I can't.
Oh, come
on. This person I'll throw under the bus any day of the year. A bitch, sorry. My old partner, Charles Cudd, he's not going to sue me because he'll have to take a day off from his day job.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah. Well, yeah, basically, he was Mr. No Time. He would say it. It was just, he basically just does these things to try to impress women. He's kind of not successful at it. And it just kind of hurts because, honestly, he is now in possession of Lynn Hayes' bass that was bequeathed to me, but people don't do the right thing.
Well, let me stop you there. Nate, what does every heterosexual man do anything for? It's to impress women, of course.
Yeah,
that's why
what happens is, funny you say that. The thing is that, once if someone's doing that for the sole purpose, then they meet somebody that they like, or they're hooked in the guy for whatever reason, whatnot. If it's not genuine, sorry. I mean, I know that there are women out there that actually care for the company of the guy and, genuinely care for him, want to have a future. But there are some people on both sides of it, that just want what they want and want to change the person, if you will. And, the thing is that if you're in it for that reason, once you have someone that you can commit to, you're going to stop. But if you're a career person, and the same thing with doing it for the money too. Like if you're doing it for the pure love of it, that's a different thing. But I've had people who it's like, I have one kid that I don't even live with, and I can't do this. But Chris has 34. And
hey, man, that's not fair. That's not fair, Nate. I have a kid that doesn't live with me.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I mean to get into your business.
No, same. I have a kid that hasn't lived with me for a long time. All right. Well, we've heard a lot from.
Oh, I thought you said the number. I exaggerated how many you had.
Well, we've heard a lot from Nate, and I'll get back to you. I know you have a lot of pain. I can hear it in your voice, man. And through that pain comes creativity.
I'm okay, but
yeah,
there are some other good examples, like the guy from Fedora.
Yeah.
And he's a Pete. He's a good guy, and his band has played, and they tour and everything. So if you really want to do something, actually, that would be good, setting a good example for your children. I learned that from a friend of mine that I used to write articles for the Forest Hill Celebrity, Joe Lara. Shout out to him. But I'll shut up. Okay.
Well, all right, Master Nate. We've heard a bunch from you, man, and I can feel I feel something from you. Who is next to join the band, though?
Well, Nate's songwriting, I think, comes from his pain.
Yes. And so, who is the next member to join the band?
I think it was Ken, right?
Ken Holly?
Ken came before me, yeah.
All right, Ken Holly, tell us a story.
Okay, well, I guess first thing I should probably do is, shout out to my hometown heroes, Social Distortion.
Social D.
I'm actually from there, where they're from.
Okay. I think social distortion. Social distancing is going to be the Oxford words of the year. It has to be.
Oh God, yeah.
So
it's crazy what we're going through. I'm an IT worker. I work for a British company, but I've had a client that had me in the city the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Commuting in and out of Manhattan, it's empty like nothing I've ever seen.
How does that feel? All those big buildings. I've seen some videos online where people are like in the middle of even Manhattan and the streets are practically empty.
It's eerie. I took a few photos. I've got a photo of Fifth Avenue from like 53rd and 5th, going like looking down Fifth. It's empty at like 4:30 in the afternoon.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's remember the movie I Am Legend?
Okay. Yes. With Will Smith. Yes.
I'm waiting for the grass to start growing through the sidewalk.
You're the last man on earth, man. So, Ken Holly, you're an IT guy. I like pocket protector, horn rim glasses.
No horn rim glasses. That's a funny reference, but no, I'm more of a small business IT consultant.
All right, dig it, man. So you're into computers. I think they're going to catch on eventually.
I'm very thankful because with all of the career paths that are out there and all the jobs that people have in the service industry, mine still actually has work.
Yeah, this is pretty much the only service that I'm still able to do, the podcasting. I mean, I still have the online radio station. I know one of your fans figured out that it was offline. For some reason, my hosting decided to take it offline today. So that's why the radio itself is offline. It will be back online by this weekend. I'll start loading it back up. But, the podcasting website is still up. So you'll definitely have that tonight. But IT is definitely important. People need to stay connected. People working from home.
If there's any one thing that this entire pandemic has taught the IT world, is that our world's infrastructure just isn't enough yet.
Well, you're finding out where we're vulnerable. We didn't have enough masks. We're spending so much on battleships. I guess.
Get to put one on.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I heard today on a podcast from a scientist, they don't make a bit of difference. The M95 itself, because they're open on the sides. They're for surgeons not to cough on people, not necessarily for them not to breathe in anything.
Yeah,
It's for them not to
exactly.
take anything out. So that's a whole nother story. All right, Ken Holly.
Yeah.
Thank you, IT guy, the band's IT guy and drummer. So who was next to join the band?
So I guess it was me.
Hannah Steinbach, the keyboardist. Tell the people a
Yes.
little bit more about you.
Well, so I was going to answer your question actually.
Please.
About how it feels to be in a band that's already been set up, and frankly, like the parts that I had to learn that Nate wrote, or possibly it was I think Nate wrote them. I never asked about that, whether it was Nate or I assumed it was Nate, but it might have been the previous keyboard player. But I try to play like the record, so it sounds like the record when people hear it. They're not hearing something completely different, but they're honestly so fun to play. They're so beautiful that I love playing them. And then I also added, there were a lot of songs that don't have keyboard parts, so I had to add my own. So I just try to stay with the feel of the songs. The songs are very varied. We have like punk sounding songs, and we have like orchestral almost sounding songs, and real goth songs. And so I just try to stay with the feel of the song and make up a part that seems to go with it, and hope that Nate likes it. Then I hope for Nate's approval.
Hannah Steinbach.
I hold my breath.
Playing the notes that somebody else created. I mean, how does that make you feel creatively? Do you feel stifled, or you being able to add those little?
I mean, I did grow up playing that way, because you're playing, these great composers, and so it's something that I'm used to doing and that I appreciate doing, because you can, it's all playing. You're playing if you're playing someone else's part, but you really enjoy it, like I do with Imbolg, then it's just as rewarding as it is as making up your own part.
When you're playing,
you don't have to think.
When you're playing live, you're able to add your little taste, your little flares.
When we're playing, yes, absolutely, because there are a lot of songs that didn't have keyboard parts, so I do have a chance to express myself in a different way, creatively that way.
Excellent. All right, time to get to the newest member of the band, bass. How low can you go? The bass player, Chris Dinan. Hey, do you have classic bass face when you're playing your bass? Do you stick your tongue out and make faces at the crowd? What kind of bass player are you, Chris Dinan?
It really depends on the song. If it's more of like a high energy song, I'll jump around all over the stage. Jump around in circles, bang my head, whatever. Just like really get into it. Just let the spirit of the music catch me. But when the song's more like slower and more atmospheric, more groove oriented, I'll just stay stationary and just like really focus on what I'm playing and just close my eyes and get lost in the groove.
I mean, the ones I can think of in the spectrum of bass, is at least in my history, in my day, the more subtle, the more subdued would be Sting, and then the more flared out there would be Flea. So you fall somewhere in that spectrum. Who are your bass heroes, Chris Dinan?
My biggest is Geezer Butler from Black Sabbath.
If you're gonna do
and
it,
Peter Steele from Typo Negative.
Why?
I just love his style, and I love that the bluesy, yet bouncy and dark sound that both him and Peter were able to create. And between the two of them is what really made me want to pick up the bass for the first time. So,
plucking or strumming?
Depends on the song.
Huh.
For a lot of the Imbolg songs, I use a pick because it has more of like a sharper attack, more of like a more aggressive sound. Because the nature of the music is kind of like a little bit more upbeat and a little bit more heavier. But when I'm playing like blues or classic rock or something like that, I'll play with my fingers.
Very cool, man. Hey, I've got all four of you on there, and I hope that maybe in the future, as time progresses, I may get you individually and get more of your story, because I love getting conversations and hearing people's story. But now it's now that we've got a little introduction on everybody, talk amongst yourselves. Tell a story for the people. Relay things as they're progressing. How are you progressing as a band now that it's rebuilding and restarting? Are you doing gigs? I mean, up till just a few weeks ago, what kind of gigs were you doing, or were you playing? Practicing. Tell the people a little bit more about Imbolg.
Nate?
The last, we were supposed to do a show last month, like about a month ago in New York. A friend of ours, Justin Symbol, was coming back. He had lived here and he went out to move to LA. And I put something together, but there was just, so much going on, and the venue double booked it, the room. So we didn't actually get to play, unfortunately. But we did rehearse. It was the first time Hannah and Chris had rehearsed together, because Chris had come into the band.
You guys had done a show together that I had to miss because it was my parents' I think that was the time that it was my parents' 60th anniversary, so I had to miss that show. And so the last show was the first one that we would have been playing together, me and Chris.
Yeah, that's definitely something you can't miss. It's the 60th anniversary. Now,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That was something I couldn't change.
How is the music community in your area? I mean, because if I can't DJ a party, I have friends, other DJs that can fill in for me, and it won't. People won't feel bad. There won't be any hurt feelings if another DJ fills in for me because I had something else to do due to other obligations. Now, say the keyboardist, you had to go off and do your mom and dad's 60th anniversary, and who filled in, and were there any feelings there?
We just played without a keyboard player.
Did it feel like something was missing?
As a drummer, yes, it does. There's a lot of cues, and there's certain songs we can't play if she's not there.
Yeah. I mean, you have a full sound. Well, you have plenty of members that play a lot of instruments. I feel like hey, let's put it this way: you got a band. I mean, I'm listening to all your songs on the YouTube, and you have them all out there. I mean, what's the response? Since 2014, you put out that album, Nate. What was the response on that? How what were people saying about it?
People liked it. There were, some DJs, around town that said they were impressed by it.
Do you have a rock station that'll play new music or that'll support new artists?
We don't have too much here for the local community, but I just was working with skateboard marketing, Muncie Ritchie, and we had, unfortunately, since we weren't doing everything like, the way it should be, doing like album release, a long time with a tour and a radio promo and a publicity campaign. Sometimes you just can't do that if you don't have the money. So,
it's all different now. Are you signed to a record label, or have you been before?
We chose to. I started my own years ago, and I just had learned about distribution, different things about the industry. I had a friend that was signed, and I saw some of the things that went on, and actually he bounced from label to label because he was favored by Rick Rubin, and it just like eventually he ended up, working with him on the third album, this band Hours. And actually, I met Jimmy in high school, Jimmy Necco from Hours. He kind of has the same formula that I do. He was signed when Hours got signed, and he hired who he wanted. So it's kind of the same thing. It wasn't like the members were signed. But what we just did is we did a national radio campaign through Skateboard Marketing, and we were the sixth most added for that 1 week of new albums, and we peaked at number 31 on the Metal Contraband charts, and we peaked at number 9 on the NACC charts. That's the North American College and Community Station. So every college and community station around the country is on there. And, we got plays. We were in rotation, and, we were up there. There were, Ozzy was on that chart. I believe Life of Agony, Cattle Decapitation. There were, just so many bands that were, I believe Venom, but did something, or maybe Mayhem. But there were a lot of bands. It's like I'm on the same chart as Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, it sounds like you were in good company. That's for sure. It feels good to be recognized, and you put something out to the world, and you've already alluded to it. The record companies are running scared because nobody needs them anymore. You could do it all by yourself. You could start your own label. Where are you recording your music? Do you have a recording studio at your house that you can use, or do you have a place that you can use?
Actually, Ken and I have both said this. We would love to have that. I was told in high school by my teachers that's something absolutely necessary. And no, we don't. Honestly, that's been our Achilles heel, is the recording. And
but do you at least have a good practice area?
Well, locality is also our Achilles heel. I mean, we all live in separate parts of New York.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you get together to practice, do you have a good practice studio that you could, or an area that you could practice in together?
Well, actually, Chris just turned us on to a place. He wants to tell us about that place.
Go, Chris, tell us.
It's Pumps in Greenpoint. Oh, was it West Williams, East Williamsburg? Sorry, and my neighborhood get mixed up. Right upstairs from the strip club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And is this is a place that bands go, or is this your own spot?
No, this place is really good. The guy who runs it, Dan, he's a wonderful guy to work with. The equipment's good. The rooms are clean, and the rates are reasonable. So I rehearsed there with my other band, and so that's how I was able to find out about that place. And when we were getting ready for
club, but we don't go there.
Well, and Hannah, earmuffs. Let me get Hannah to make earmuffs right now. Boys, can you get a lap dance upstairs?
So far, not yet. Working on it. Play later.
No, but that's very inspiring to be above those pretty ladies. But no, it's good to have a space. I'm glad you have a good space. And have you been able to use that space, or is that something that you just found?
It's an hourly thing.
Yeah. I've been going there for 6 months, about 6 months or so with my other band, okay. And we just Imbolg just started rehearsing there. So it seems to be working out.
Very good. And you're gelling together, all the parts. I mean, okay, Nate.
Like Nate was saying earlier about finding musicians to really have a good musical and personal rapport with. It's very rare, especially in New York. Like Nate was saying, a lot of people are very self-centered, egotistical. It's very hard to work with people and find people who are on the same page with you and who gel with you. So it was really great getting together with these guys, and the music's great, and we all get along. So
the
rehearsals go great. The show's going great.
7 million people, and you found each other.
Touring a lot easier too. When you get along, we have fun when we tour.
Yeah. Who's got the big car that picks everybody up and tours? Who's got the van?
It's mostly Nate.
Nate's got the van.
Well, he's got a Ford Explorer.
Okay, that's big enough. That could carry quite a bit of equipment and some peoples in there. I like that.
Yeah.
Riding in style.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think when it comes to music, I think it comes down to chemistry. And I think we finally have like the right chemistry between the four of us.
No, I like that. I can hear it. You're gelling, man. I mean, I could tell that you've had some trials and tribulations in the past. When you were telling your story about, how you made that, how do you put that record together in 2014? But now it seems like you got a good group together, and you're putting some music out there. Now, what moving forward from here on, what's Imbolg doing? I mean, after the quarantine is over, we hope it's over soon. They said April, then May, then June, then July, then August. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows when it's going to happen?
It'll get warm by then. This will die out.
Well, here's something that the kids have been doing. Some of these bands have been doing some virtual stuff. Is that studio set up to record virtual live? Put a PayPal link underneath, and maybe somebody will throw you a couple bucks so you can play for them online.
That's a possibility to do something like that.
That's not a bad idea.
We'd have to have a camera, though.
Yeah, it's not like a big professional stage room, but it's the rooms there are big enough that we could if we wanted to.
I mean, shoot, I just saw Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick playing mandolins and singing together on their couch. I don't know if they were. They didn't have like a PayPal under there, or maybe they did, and whatever money they made, they were probably giving to charity. But they were putting smiles on faces, and that's something. That's the power that you have.
It would be hard to get Ken's drum set in one of our houses, though. We're in New York. Yeah. We have small apartments.
Oh goodness, yeah. I remember Miami was, when I was living there, it was kind of expensive to get a bigger place. So, but I've heard New York is teeny tiny.
The studio may be closed, because non-essential businesses are.
They've been doing that stuff.
I suspect you're right.
Closed.
I mean, right now we're only doing audio, and we're doing it on phones, cell phones primarily. But I think you can do Skype, where you can do several people. I think there's a Zoom app, and perhaps you can get individual folks. I don't know how that would sound, but I'd love to see you try, to play, because the creator's got to create. People got to play when you know how to. I'm so jealous of you that know how to play instruments. I have guitars and pianos and harmonicas in the house, and I can't play a lick, man. But I watch you guys on stage, and you're kicking butt, making people happy. Oh.
It's a blessing and a curse, though. I have to admit, especially if you play multiple instruments.
Who plays the multiple instruments?
Why you said that, but I agree.
Who plays the multiple instruments? Who can play more than one instrument? Say your name.
That's me.
Say your name. Ken. What did you start with? What do you play? What did you play when you were a young lad?
I started on clarinet at 12.
Clarinet. That's right. You said that. But
I did the whole. I'm trying to think. Throughout junior high and high school, I moved around between clarinet and bass clarinet and contrabass, and played some saxophones and some baritone, and I think I played sousaphone 1 year.
Oh my goodness!
I was a band geek in high school.
Yeah, but you never played guitar. A lot of the bass players that I've talked to, joined the band and they wanted to play guitar, but they could also play bass. Oh, you know what? We already have enough guitar players. Why don't you go ahead and play bass? But you were already playing bassy instruments, you said.
Well, actually, sousaphone, I had to learn quickly. It was band director came to me at the end of the summer. He's like, "Hey, our marching band lost our tuba player. Hey, why don't you take this home over the summer and see how you do?"
Hey,
I came back in the fall. I could play a scale. He's like, "Good, here, learn this."
Kenny on the spot, man. If you need it, he'll take care of it. That's fantastic.
I could never get past the concept of the chords on the guitar, so I could never learn guitar. I do play a little bit of bass.
Right. All right.
So the blessing is being able to play multiple instruments, but the curse is that
that's right.
None of the instruments that I enjoy playing are quiet.
Yes.
So I can't just practice anytime or anywhere.
But I've known, every kid in high school, every boy in high school that or even boy growing up would beat on their desk. So every boy wanted to be a drummer, just like you, man.
That's actually how I got the
itch. Stop beating on your desk. No, I'm going to do this for a living. Bam. There you are.
If only.
So that's a little bit about Ken. You actually can play some instruments, but you're beating on the skins. That is your nom de plume, your forte. All right, let's go with
it's fun.
Chris Dinan. How did you start playing bass?
And
what other instruments can you play, if any?
I'm learning harmonica, and I know a little bit of guitar. You said a moment ago most bass players start off as guitarists. That's true, and also the other way around. But funny enough, I don't really know how to play guitar.
Okay.
I barely play bass.
Oh, okay. But if you had a choice of instruments, what would you want to play?
No, that is not true, Chris. I've been fortunate to play with a lot of very talented bass players, and you're one of my favorites.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. See, build each other up. That's what you do. Hannah, what other instruments can you play? Oh, go ahead.
If you can't laugh at yourself every once in a while, what's the point of living, right?
No, if you can't laugh at yourself, I'll laugh at you.
Nice.
Hannah, do you play any other instruments besides the keyboard?
I don't. I used to. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. What were you going to say?
No, I dabbled in drums and keys in my teens and early 20s before I got turned on to the bass.
See, that would be kind of fun at a show if you kind of traded instruments every once in a while. If Kenny jumped on bass and then Chris jumped on the drums for a little bit, and Nate got the keyboard, and then here's Hannah on the front. Learning how to play guitar.
Hannah would have to sing because that's the only instrument. I really wish, you were saying that a lot of people wanted to be guitarists as well. I would love to be a guitarist. I think the guitar is so expressive, and sometimes I feel very frustrated that I can't. You're really kind of you're limited a little bit by playing keys, but I think you can get more sounds out of a guitar. You can do a lot more expressive things. But I tried to play guitar, couldn't play guitar. I tried to play drums, can't play the drums. Drums are fun to play, but couldn't do it. But I did study opera at Manhattan School of Music, so I was a singer. But I kind of smoked my voice out, so.
Well, Hannah,
I don't do that these days anymore.
You're the only girl in this band, but you were in a band called Lilith. What's the difference between the two? How do you feel? I mean, because when you were in a band full of girls, you could talk to each other, you had more in common maybe. But, then you come into this boy band with stinky boys. Ew.
Well,
no, I mean, tell me how.
I have to roll my eyes when they make certain jokes.
Well, I mean, tell me your experience with Lilith. How long did that last?
Oh, we were only together like a few years, like 2 or 3 years, and then the guitarist, who was also the songwriter, moved to California. So, but it was fun. You know, it was a little different, but it was more different because we were doing kind of different music. Like she really wanted to almost be a folk singer. Lisa, and so it really wasn't as much fun as I'm having now.
Yeah,
with the guys.
You feel like you're fitting in. You're fitting in with the boys.
Yeah, I'm one of the guys. That's
cool.
how I feel. I don't know how they feel.
Damn straight.
Well, let's find out. You know, okay. Now that you've heard about Hannah, what do you think of Hannah? No, I'm just kidding. No, you know, back to Nate. I mean, this was your brainchild. This was your vision, and now you have a new family that's helping you to bring your vision alive. And how is the creative flow? I mean, do you all write music, or is it, you know, primarily Nate brings you an idea and then you guys jam together? And how does a song come together now? Are you making anything new as well?
Well, I went over some new ideas with Ken. It was actually like a year ago. I have some pieces to stuff.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, that was a while. And honestly, I'm completely like, just like lost. I'm like, wait, what is this? Oh, okay. And now I remember this part. But I've been working on some stuff. Actually, I put together a piece of a song yesterday, and it's kind of hard because I just have to get the pieces to fit. And what I really would like to do moving forward is just, you know, I'll work with Ken on the stuff and then bring it to the entire band. And I just want everyone to just feel what, you know, sounds right. I mean, there's some bands that have influenced my sound, like the 69 Eyes, for example. And I've just, you know, heard some of their keyboard parts, and it's just like comes in at the right moment. And there was just like a, you know, steady piano, like something simple. I could play it. It was just like, you know, just, you know, pressing down, ding, 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 ding. So, I mean, sometimes less is more. And, you know, I just want everyone to be able to like, just, you know, feel out their parts. And I want to just take our time with this one. I think what I'm going to do is, you know, I want us to come up with some ideas and make those gel, work on them, and try to build a rapport with an engineer and just let them know what we're doing. And then maybe if we have some stuff solid, we could just start to try to schedule something, do something, you know, the right way this time. No, sorry. I mean, that's on me. I've just had people really slack on the stuff in the past with getting the production done.
Well, it's definitely good to have a good engineer, a good producer, because a creator such as yourself or any of the other members of the band can come up with something and think that it's perfect, or they might get stuck. Oh, I don't know what to do here. But you have somebody that's been producing for a while, and I suspect that there has got to be a plethora of people up in the New York area, you know, up in the Long Island area, up where you are. There's got to be studio after studio where people have been making records. You know, you're in the right town. You know, there's 7 million people out there. One of them's going to fit right, at least. And
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's some options we've been considering. You know, actually, the one studio that we recorded a video and we haven't released it yet, Smash Studios, they have engineering there. You know, and then also I want to give a shout out to Block 6 and Astoria Soundworks and what's Willie's studio, Ken, in Long Beach?
Oh, the Jam Factory.
Yes, yeah. I mean, all those are great rehearsal spots. So I just, but yeah. And then another thing that I kind of picked up from just actually, I think it was from Kiss, finding out how they would do stuff. They had just brought in, I think, their girlfriends, or maybe one of them was married at the time. Just a few people after they rehearsed, they got something down. They're like, "All right, we want to know what you think of this, like how the sound is and everything." So that's probably what I'm going to do. Is like we'll just maybe do a private concert online or something, and just get some of the newer people. All right, like, what do you think of this and stuff? I mean, I think that everybody should be able to, just be honest about, their opinion about certain parts and things like that. Truthfully, like Chris's other project, he has this song that he put out, and I think it's great. I just, there was one part I really feel like, they're gonna go back into the studio and, or once they, you guys are done with that EP, Chris, with Diamond?
Yeah, the EP is available on Reverb Nation.
And what's the name of that band, Chris?
It doesn't have a name. It's just self-titled. It's the 4 tracks. They're available for free download and streaming.
And that's under your name?
Yes.
Chris Dinan?
Yeah, Dinan. We pronounce it Dinan because nobody can pronounce Dinan.
Excuse me. I didn't juice it up right.
My name is Dinan, but the band is Dinan.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's if Bon Jovi.
Is easier.
Yeah, like Bon Jovi said Bon Jovi. No, it's Bon Jovi.
Well, a lot of people, when they see my name written down, they pronounce it Dinan anyway. So we just figured we'd go with that.
So why did I go with Dinan? I guess I'm pronouncing it properly. I put the right emphasis on the right syllable.
It could be either way. You wouldn't be wrong.
So speaking of videos, man, you do have a YouTube out there for your Forever Autumn records, and I watched the Paler Steel official video, the Paler Still. Who shot that?
Yeah.
That's a great video. It really showcases you well.
That was my friend Mandy DeFeo. I've known her for years, and actually she had just called me up and asked about one of these little handheld Zoom recorders and told me, I have video equipment. So that's kind of how that happened. That was actually recorded in my backyard.
That's cool.
My mother's backyard.
That's cool, man.
So,
I see.
We had some drone shots for that, but then the drone flew into the tree and it broke.
Yeah.
Which was I was looking forward to that.
And it was hot as hell that day.
It was.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, here you are, all dressed in black and leather and all goth, and
I had fur on.
And we're trying not to show the sweat.
The things you go through for your art.
Sacrifice for art.
That's right. You sacrifice comfort for style. That's what you did.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you're in the art, one of the fashion capitals of the world, New York. All right. So what? All right. Any other avenues of interest? Are you sports fans at all, or do you like going bowling, or what other avenues of interest do you like? Anyone jump in, say your name, and what do you like to do?
Well, Ken Ollie. I'm starting to get into model airplanes apparently.
Hey, I did that when I was a kid. I like the stuff from World War II. I had them hanging up all over the roof. Either Star Wars or planes of World War II. What are your model airplanes of choice?
So it's not necessarily for me. So I have a 8-year-old boy, or actually 9-year-old boy. Excuse me.
Excellent.
So I bought him a model rocket for Christmas. We haven't even shot the rocket off yet, but because thanks to YouTube and the internet, my son discovered radio controlled model airplanes.
So
and
he's
now
getting
we're
more
looking
expensive.
Now we're looking at buying a 3-channel controller with an actual electric powered airplane.
See, that's something you could do with your kid. That's beautiful. You're a good daddy. No, that's cool.
The only part that's scaring me is the financial part.
Yeah. Model airplanes can be a very expensive endeavor for sure. I think the worst
It can
ones
get
is
very
like
expensive very fast.
helicopters. Helicopters are like the worst because they break all the time. And then I guess this drone thing, you were talking about drones. The real expensive ones can be really expensive. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let me call you out by name. Any special areas of interest, Hannah?
I am interested in fashion, but I'm interested in all the arts. I love going to galleries, and we have, a great art scene in New York, visual arts, and I love going gallery hopping when they have openings. It's like a great big party, in Chelsea, this area in Manhattan, and I love to read. I love film. New York is great for culture. And no, I'm not a sports fan. I will watch tennis. I was a Maria Sharapova fan, and I went to the tennis open because we have that here in New York too.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I like about ladies tennis,
the tickets have gotten so expensive. I haven't gone in a long time.
No, the thing I like about ladies tennis is when they go, ah.
Yeah, no, they don't go, they go,
Yeah.
They definitely do.
That might be even better. That might be even better. That's right. A more deeper, guttural.
It depends on the player.
I kid. All right. So you're well versed into the arts. I need to get to New York. I haven't been north of the Mason-Dixon too much, really. I think I went to D.C. That might be slightly north of that parallel. But
Where are you based?
I'm in Conway, Arkansas, just a little bit north of Little Rock. I'm a Florida boy who moved here in 2009. So, yeah, I got here and things sure did change. I used to be near the ocean, and now it's all green. All right. Any areas of interest, Chris Dinan? What do you like to do for fun?
I do a lot of reading. I'm not like fiction, horror fiction, like Stephen King, Clive Barker.
That's my guy, Stephen King.
I read up a lot on, Neil Gaiman. I'm a professional tarot card reader. I'm trying to get that up and going like full time.
Are you kidding me?
I have a lot of.
That's pretty cool. When did that come out? Have you been fascinated with the occult?
Yeah. For about 15 years or so, I've been professionally reading for about 6 years, and
wow.
I would throughout New York. I would go set up a table in bars and clubs and stuff, as well as do online over the phone, face to face.
Yeah, I'm scheduled to go on a podcast with a guy that calls himself. His name is Joseph, but I think he calls himself a millennial's third eye, and I'm supposed to go on his podcast tomorrow. I had him on mine, but that fascinates me. I'm half Cuban from Miami, so the Santeria has been a part of my life. I never really practiced it, but I'm kind of fascinated by the occult. So have you ever seen a ghost? Do you believe?
Have I ever seen what?
A ghost?
Isn't Santeria like a derivative of Candomblé?
Yeah, it's like voodoo or something. I know that I've been to seances and stuff.
I'm not really familiar with that. I'm more of like a Taoist, holy, pagan Wicca kind of say, like ceremonial magic, earth magic.
Fascinating,
kind of
man. Fascinating. Something's out there. People call it what they will. The universe is so big. Something's out there.
It's not in any way, shape, or form evil or dark or anything. It's just working with the energies of nature, of the universe, and the energies within yourself.
Yeah, I've talked. I used to work with a Wiccan at the hospital. We worked side by side in the communication desk in the emergency room, and just chatting with her. Yeah, it's all natural and nature, and just as long as you're a good person, you try to be nice to people. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's nice, you just be nice to each other. That's cool, man. You got some facets.
I couldn't agree with that statement more.
Yeah. All right, Master Nates, what are your areas of interest? What do you like to do for fun?
Well, I, like Chris, I am into the occult as well. Sometimes I go to this botanical house of grace, and it depends on what I need. Herbs or candles, crystals, and what Chris said is like spot on. Basically, it's with the energies of the earth, and none of that stuff is evil. Like you're burning sage or whatnot. And the earth was created by God, prime creator.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends on what you're looking to do. Like a clearing would be sage, and then there's just other things. Actually, mint helps with attracting money. There's a lot of different things that you can do with that, just to kind of help yourself along with these things. And actually, another place that is good for things like that is the Witch Fest. We had played there on Astor Place. That had actually, now it's attracting Christian protesters.
Oh,
and
that's going to happen.
But yeah, I mean, this thing got huge. It really, really good. They have a lot of workshops. Star Ravenhawk put that together, and we had performed there 2014 and 2015 right on Astor Place. But also, a buddy of mine just got me into surfing.
I did it one time.
I only went out once.
Yeah, I did it one time in Sebastian, out in Florida, waist high.
Oh,
where did you go?
I only did it once, to be honest with you.
Where did you go?
Rockaway Beach, actually. Speaking of the Ramones.
The Ramones.
It was around
there. It comes all the way back around. Look at that. A callback.
That's funny. Totally. I mean, that experience, I mean, I remember when seeing Jaws as a kid, that has just been tattooed on my head. I'm like, I will never step into the ocean at night. And then
that's hilarious.
You know, it affected me too.
I'm actually a certified scuba diver.
Yeah, I was a rescue diver down in the Florida Keys in the fire department, and still going in the water. The only thing is when you're a scuba diver, you can actually see what's going on. It's not like you're just kind of bobbing above the water. At least you could see underwater if something's coming at you.
So very true.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, that just like stuck to me, like it was really crazy. But we were actually, in the water when that was, like, it's just turned into night. And it was like, oh, this is a great workout. I mean, that's, something I like to do is fitness. Life is just a journey, and I'm just trying to figure out some certain things about, just what direction, I'm taking this and, life in general. I mean, you'd be shocked. I'm actually a fan of the Beach Boys too.
No shock here. They were great.
Which kind of bleeds into another, interest of mine. Actually one of my favorites was Dennis. He was the one, like, the stigma, like, all the girls liked him and stuff. And, his Pacific Ocean Blue album, that was great. He came out with some really, really good stuff. And, I'm actually into, horror, stuff and like history and things like that. And, actually, I'm sure everyone knows, like, he was hanging out with Charles Manson. And, like, I studied these crime cases. I stumbled upon it by accident because I'm always on YouTube. And there's a friend of mine, Tracy Wayne Gacy. You know where she got that name from. And she's actually a professional wrestler. And so I put that name in to watch one of her matches. And then what came up, the Gacy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's really weird. I mean, like all these things that happen, you go on there and someone's like, yeah, my friend's cousin was a victim, or someone will come out and say, he offered me a job. Luckily, my mom said no. Or there was some politician who changed her name because she didn't want the association to affect her politically. And, history, on its own. I mean, you just go down the rabbit hole with YouTube. I'm usually on there a lot.
Yeah.
And, just all the facets of, dealing with the band, occupy my time, like just all the social media. I mean, I was the one who posted this on Instagram and Twitter, Snapchat, just different places. So, I, stick to that. I guess, one of my odd hobbies would be finding, if I see someone with a mullet, I usually take a picture of it and I document it. And
mullets have you seen?
Why is this the first time you're hearing this?
All right, I think my 10th grade picture.
You've seen me do it.
I had some kind of a mullet in my 10th grade picture. I'll have to admit. Yeah, I think it's still at my mom's house, hanging up somewhere. All right.
Well,
yeah,
you're from that generation.
Hey, don't break my heart, my achy, breaky heart, man.
No, it's okay. I mean, like all
of my siblings are like your age and older, so.
And your belief in the occult and your interest in that has affected your art and your music and your style. I mean, I just watching that one video that we just talked about. It's all goth and but it's daylight, but you're out there. It was very well shot. You got to give it up to once again to that to the videographer and whoever directed that for you. That was beautifully done. And I look forward to hearing more about what's going on in your heads. I mean, if I could pick you out individually sometime in the future and pick your brains about these about the interests that you have. I mean, shoot, tarot cards. Come on, man, that's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, lots of kids grew up and maybe had a box of tarot cards or a Ouija board. I don't know. Should I be doing this? Am I calling out the wrong demons, or am I calling out different people, or do you even care? Can that happen? I don't know. This this universe is too big. There's got to be room for everything, every possibility. People that say, "Oh, you know what? There is no God." You know what? Do you know for sure? I don't know.
Nobody really knows for sure.
No, nobody does. Yeah.
Yeah. What? I mean, I'm going to heaven after I die. Have you ever died? I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many speculations of things, and I did actually see something about some famous ghosts, and it's just, I think that basically their work isn't done. And one of the shows that we did a few years ago, I don't know if you saw the video of us covering The Police Is So Lonely. That was another pagan fair in Ringwood, New Jersey. And they have an organization called Rope. So they did some seminars with that. And, so it was pretty interesting with that. I forgot to mention a couple of things with, I try to read. It's kind of hard. I try to make up for it by listening to a book on tape if I can. As far as fashion, the main thing I like to do is, I like belt buckles and accessories and stuff like that, or actually, I was rubbing elbows with Ken's friend Emilio. He's got some pretty nice pieces, and there's all sorts of stuff. Eagles, wolves. I have a guitar head one. I actually saw one of the WWE
WWF, whatever, wrestling belt. I thought that was cool. I'm into the wrestling and karate a little bit too. And I did play sports in high school as well. I try to stay active with stuff like that. But I'm a caretaker for animals. I have had many cats. Unfortunately, I just lost one that was very dear to me. She was 17. But also I'm an advocate for suicide prevention as well.
Why wouldn't you be?
It's just I've had a few cases where I've studied it. I've found out the right way to deal with someone who's suicidal. My close friend's stepson had committed suicide at the age of 13, unfortunately. And ever since the memorial, I've been wearing the teal, green, and purple bracelet. And that was 2 years ago. So I got it on 2018 January. So I've talked to some people that have done that. Have thought about doing that. Just trying to make people aware of there's always hope. And, you shouldn't be be afraid to talk to people and stuff. I mean, it's just a different dynamic, it's hard sometimes for anybody. I'm not just going to say it's a guy thing. Women too.
That's a great bit of advice, man.
Feelings.
For anybody out there contemplating. Yeah. For anybody out there contemplating suicide, say it again.
We had a DJ who was a friend of a lot of us. Alex Von Neal last year committed suicide. He was a big DJ in New York in our scene. And he was a great guy, loved by everybody. The wake was huge. He committed suicide.
I was fortunate enough to have him as a roommate.
It really, you were right. What? It was really shocking to all of us. People knew, I knew that he was depressed. He mentioned it, but you didn't know the extent of it. He didn't go on, he was always very affable and friendly and talkative, and he didn't, it was a real shock.
That definitely goes to show you just don't know. If somebody reaches out, pay attention. Little signs.
Ken Holly here.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ken.
I think we're facing a societal problem where people with depression are looked at as being weak or not as strong as others. And really, it's not. It's a chemical imbalance in most cases.
Yeah, I would hope that people don't look down and say they're weak, man. You don't know you don't know what that person's going through. You don't. Yeah, if you knew what somebody else's problems were, you would. What was that? There was a saying about that said if you were able to put all the problems on the table and see everybody else's problems, you'd take your problems back. And notice that that other people have it bad too.
Yeah, it all depends. I think we had inadvertently cut Chris off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Well, let me see. Is Chris out there?
No, I'm here. Yeah, no, I was going to say, because Alex, he was a roommate of mine for 6 months.
Oof.
And he was a funny guy. Him and I were so close. And we would be up to 4 a.m. just hanging out and watching stupid videos on YouTube and just having a blast. And, like Hannah said, we all knew he was depressed, but we didn't know that, he would actually ever at some point go through with it. So when we found out what had happened with him, it absolutely devastated a lot of people in New York, Philadelphia, and New Orleans, where he had really strong support and very large circles because he would go to those cities and DJ and he had a lot of really close friends and influenced a lot of people.
Well, it sounds like you're keeping him alive in your thoughts, and
yeah.
and perhaps it'll come out in your creativity, man. You'll make a song about him. He'll live forever. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, and actually, he was an avid mullet hunter as well.
Perfect.
I mean, not to. Yeah, it was the truth. I made him my high counselor. I mean, he actually, I know this sounds like a joke and everything, but he actually almost got physically attacked for capturing a mullet, and I wanted to give him like a medal. Like I had a whole script written out, and if anyone ever has that honor from now on, it's going to be the Alex Von Nile Memorial Award for Bravery.
Well, I suspect sometime around the end of this year, maybe the beginning of next year, Mullet Hunter by Imbolg will be written and produced.
Maybe.
Mullet Hunter.
Yeah. I might have a few reality shows. I mean, I might go around with a mullet myself, like a wig, and just try to see how people interact with me differently, like undercover mullet. Maybe mullet.
Hey,
maybe mullet makeover.
Nate, when I was looking you up, there was an IMDb that came out for a Nathaniel M. Dalcase. Is that you for Jack O. Slasher? Were you a cult member?
Oh yeah.
He's an actor too.
I dabble a little bit actually. Here in New York, you can get set up with this central casting, and they call you if you sign up for something, and you're like a blur walking past the courthouse on Law and Order or something like that. That was an independent film, Jacko Slasher. That was really cool. Jen Valdez did that, and her sister Fallen. The one of the other cult members, Genevieve Rossi. I don't know if you saw that, but she's got a lot of credits for acting and directing. She's been in some stuff with one of the Baldwins. I would like to get more into acting. Actually, my uncle, Lou Liberator, he's been acting, and he was Tony nominated.
Oh, you're in New York, man. Let your creative juices flow. You got plenty of avenues to go down. You're in the home of the Ghostbusters and raise a cult.
Oh yeah,
by far the deepest talent pool I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. All right, people. We've taken some time out there. Any other avenues that you want to explore? What's next on the horizon for Imbolg? And how do people get a hold of you?
Well, we have a website, imbolgmusic.com. I did want to also mention when I was talking about that band Begora, we were in Eternal Blood. It's a vampire novel. We were mentioned in there. And hopefully we'll be able to do this festival that we were working on, Bravo Fest. And that's to support the veterans. That's up in Connecticut. And we'd like to just continue touring. It seems like, unfortunately, it's like memorial festivals have been going on. Like there's one for our friends in Rhode Island from the band Vague Perception, Rock Gut Fest. My friend Jason from Mr. Monster and Wednesday 13, we played for his festival, Trioxin Fest. I believe that's going to be Halloween weekend. We haven't had anything confirmed yet, but we played last year. We're going to have that new video out. We're going to be working on material. I want to, continue with the line of merch, just try to, continue working on stuff. I do have some solo stuff I'm messing around with, and, I mix that in with covers. We actually are on sale at Arkansas CD Exchange.
What?
In Little Rock.
How about that? Just about 30 minutes out to me.
Yeah, we're in some stores all over the country: Austin, Texas, LA, San Fran. Some places in Florida. Vintage Vinyl in New Jersey. Generation Records in New York.
Record Exchange in Salem. When we played there, those people are good. And also, I feel bad for all these. They're not considered essential. They're essential to us, but all these places have been forced to close. I think Everybody's Record in Cincinnati is currently still open, but and Better Days in Kentucky, I have to contact them. I think they're still available, but it's just at IMBOLG. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram for that. Imbolg Official on Facebook. That's how you can do that. And of course, the YouTube is FAR Rock Network. But if you just type in Imbolg, music, or look Imbolg show video, Imbolg band.
Yeah, or if you just slam Forever Autumn Records all together, it pretty much comes up as well. That's fantastic, man. I've had a blast talking to you. You have so many different interests. There's so much flavor to each individual person that comes together and forms this band. And I'm glad that you're working together to build something.
Thank you.
Put your creative juices together and making people happy, man. That's what people do. They get it takes a lot to get somebody out of their chair, out of their comfy, easy chair. And I hope that, people know that when they go out and support the bands such as Imbolg and then go and meet them at the merch table afterwards, give a fist bump, buy a CD or a T-shirt. That's how you support the band. That's fantastic.
Oh, and we have beautiful graphics. I have to say, this happened. I can say it because I didn't, it wasn't, I'm complimenting, somebody else, the people who did it, not myself. And,
who designed that album cover?
Shout out to Nate on all of this because Imbolg is mostly Nate's hard work. He's very modest about it.
I really admire Nate. Yeah.
Thanks. Definitely.
Well, it's good to be a part of the show.
Everybody.
All right.
Angel Lopez did the first album cover, and his apprentice, Jay Peralta. I believe they both work with Marvel Comics, and they're at all the Comic-Cons. Jay Peralta, he goes by Atra Messor. He did the album cover. I gave them some kindergarten sketch. Oh, here's the moon, and this one, here's an angel here, and make this cobblestone, and then it wasn't what I expected it would be, the colors and everything. I'm like, I let you run with it. That's just how things work. That's kind of like how, they did
bands like that. Yeah. Too.
Yeah. I mean, that was like Eddie Van Halen from, he did the solo on Beat It. They were like, we just let the guy come in and do his thing, how he sees fit and whatnot, not give him direction. And, it just comes out better that way when people can feel the things out and stuff,
Oh, that cover with the angels is amazing. I'm definitely going to put that as part.
Yeah, and that's on our T-shirts as well.
Yes.
We have men's and women's. The women's is cut differently. They're really cute. They have like kind of puffy sleeves, and they're shorter and they're more. They look like women.
Yeah,
they're more shaped like women.
Throw that on the front of Ken Holly's drum kit too, man. You got to have that out there. It just lends itself to being postered. All right, I usually finish these things off with last words for the people. I mean, I don't know who to give first last words and who to give last words. Should we go in order of how they got into the band? That would put it at Nate, Ken, then Hannah, then Chris. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. Last words for the people. It could be something that, words to live by. It could be something that just pops into your head at this moment in time. I'm going to give it to Nate. Nate, you give the last words for the people, and then I'll give it to everybody else as well. Nate, last words for the people.
Oh, just, I want to thank everyone who was supporting us and, keep on living and everything. And especially now, you can't let things get to you or let things be taken away from you. You just got to follow your gut and your instinct.
but we can't wait to come back out on on tour and see everybody and creating music. Just shout out to everyone who's listening. I think my mom's listening, and hopefully my friend Rockin' Richie Rye, Mark and Kitty. They were people that were in the band. They're down in Florida now. Hopefully them. Just anyone who's out there, that supported us, we appreciate it, and we can't wait for this to subside when the warm weather gets out and we can come out and play again. So,
thank you, Nate Dalcase. All right, Ken Holly, last words for the people.
I just want to say it's been such an honor to actually be on the show with you, and I want to say thank you for that, and thanks to everyone that actually tuned in or is listening to this podcast. It's been a fun ride with the band so far. I can't wait to lay down some new tracks and actually start work on some new stuff. But in the meantime, we're having a good time.
Yeah, thank you, Ken Holly. All right, Hannah Steinbach, last words for the people.
So I say yes, absolutely follow your dreams. I learned that the hard way by being away. Music was definitely my first love, and then I languished, because I thought that I thought that it was like all or nothing. That if you weren't like playing Carnegie Hall or Madison Square Garden or something, you'd get shot or something for playing music. And no, that's not true. You can really affect people, have an effect on people, and you can make your own dreams come true. So definitely always, never give up, and good things will happen.
Thank you, Hannah Steinbach.
And thank you for having us on.
Yeah,
all
thank
right.
you.
Bass player Chris Dinan, last but not least, last words for the people.
All right. Well, I want to firstly thank you for having us on the show. This has been a blast. I want to thank Nate, Ken, and Hannah for having me in the band, and I really look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And look forward to a very bright, lucrative, productive, creative future. And do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. So follow what comes natural to you. Do not feel ashamed about it. And love yourself. Love what you do, and fulfill it with your most creative, passionate gumption.
Well, there you have it, party people. Imbolg, the band. Yeah, you had Nate Dalcase, and he's the front man and the guitarist and the vocals and pretty much the brainchild, I guess. And then you had the drummer, Ken Holly, and then you had the keyboardist, Hannah Steinbach, and then you had the bass player, Chris Dinan. I love it. They all had individual stories, and they all come together to form one band, Imbolg. I look forward to hearing more and more and more from them. Man, just rock on. And that style, that goth style, that Celtic style, it reflects. You got your beliefs, and it definitely reflects in your creativity. I can dig it, and I look forward to hearing more in the future as time progresses. All right, party people. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you'd like to tell your story, yes, you, the loyal listener, everyone has a story. I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here. If you like what you hear, follow What Makes You Famous social media. Use the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Follow on Facebook at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Instagram at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Twitter at Makes Famous. And follow on YouTube at Keys Dan. Leave What Makes You Famous podcast a review and subscribe. Listen to What Makes You Famous podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and almost anywhere you find podcasts. Tell your story on my podcast, What Makes You Famous. Call 501-470-6386 and leave a message to set up a time. You can support What Makes You Famous using the PayPal link, paypal.me/KeysDan. Email info@radiowhat.com. What Makes You Famous podcast is a production of Keys Dan Enterprises Incorporated at keysdan.com. Thank you for listening. Radio What, the music you want, with another great quote. It's better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you're not. Andre Gide, Autumn Leaves. The music you want is on radiowhat.com.
Hey guys, this is Shelly G. She said, what? Well, you are going to have to listen to the countdown to hear what I say. And make sure to keep listening to Radio What for more information and trivia. She said, what?